Okay, but yeah, product research, most important thing. There's obviously a couple of different factors. The reason why product research is incredibly important, and actually, let me explain that better. There's reasons why products sell better than other products, obviously. So really what I push and what I mentioned in a lot of my voice notes and videos and live streams previously is that if you understand the actual fundamentals why someone buys a product, then you understand how you can sell that product to someone else, right? So let's say something like this hoodie. This hoodie's not the perfect example, but let's say this hoodie. Yeah, this hoodie's good actually. This hoodie's okay. Because obviously maybe I like the color of the hoodie, right? But then also it's the branding, is what does the brand stand for? Because when you're buying something from Etsy, it's about it being handmade, it being unique. So this brand is about community and stuff like this, right? Whereas if you're selling a bracelet, that is about, you got to think about the emotional aspect to it, right? So typically it's going to be about, when you're selling on Etsy, it's going to be about the handmade and unique element of it. That's what the side's going to be, right? So that's what it's going to be about, right? That's what it's going to be about. So you got to think very carefully about why someone is actually going to buy something. What is the reason behind it, the underlying reason behind it? Because then what you can do is you can go on AliExpress and you can find the most random ass products in the entire world, which I might do just in 1 second. You can find the most random ass product in the entire world and you can sell that product. Because if you understand the actual underlying reason behind why someone wants to buy it, then that's what works. But if you just know how to use a tool, you just know how to use eRank or whatever, Etsy, whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter, then you never actually understand, you never gain the understanding behind the actual reason why someone wants to buy that. But anyways, the most important thing, obviously, product research and understanding the fundamentals behind product research, and that's why it actually works. Why does the product actually work? If you understand why the product works, you can replicate that over and 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 over again, right? One thing I would also say is you should find a niche that works for you. So the niche that always works for me is target market, sorry. The target market that always works for me is 30 to 60-year-old females. I just know that market very well because I've run the licorice market, right? I've run mylicorice.co.uk for years upon years, and I understand how they react to certain different types of marketing, how they react to certain different types of wording. Makasa. So that's very, very important, right? Will this live be saved? Yeah, it will be, right? So if you understand why someone's buying something, then you're in the perfect position ever. And if you specialize within the target market, you're going to do better. So when I was dropshipping, when I was doing Shopify dropshipping, which I did for a good year, right? Seriously, for a good year, almost did 7 figures, probably, under the 7-figure mark, with just pure Shopify dropshipping, not bringing it to a brand, just pure, just ripping products. I had a particular market, a particular type of product that would sell really well for me. That product was wow factor products, specifically focused again on the 30 to 60-year-old female market. So if you find a product that works, if you find a niche that works, you should stick within that niche. I would strongly recommend staying to that niche, staying to that target market. Because if you find that you know how to do the products, you know how to do the customer service, you know how to do the photos, all to that one specific target market, you are easily able to replicate that out multiple times. So you can make 10 different stores, all targeting the same target market, but in different niches, and you'll see a lot of success. But yeah, I think that makes sense. How should we prep for Q4? What are the main things you are doing? So right now I'm in a very, very, very good position, to be honest. I'm not doing a crazy amount of shit, but typically what I'm doing, the main things that I'm doing to prepare for Q4 are kind of diversify across different suppliers. That's the main thing, because that's a big problem I actually had previously last year, and I'm really focusing on the operational side of things. So even right now I'm inquiring about agency staff, getting up multiple different agencies for the warehouse, so that side's all sorted with. And then also on the side of the actual suppliers, I have multiple different suppliers for different products. No, for the same product, sorry. So let's say I have one particular pair of headphones. I'm selling this, I'll find 3 different suppliers that sell the exact same product, or even try and go up the chain. But let's say I have 3 different agents selling the exact same product, or very, very similar. I will try and diversify across multiple different people, multiple different suppliers, just in case one fucks up, in case one makes a mistake, right? I'm at 500 plus sales. What should I focus on now? Any advice? So I would really focus on, if you're at 500 plus sales, I would really focus on actually advertisements. I would really focus on that. I would, advertisements? What the fuck am I talking about? If you're at 500 sales right now, 500 sales or above, I would focus on profitability. Focus on profitability, downscale ads, really focus on that, really focus on building out your product range, adding a lot of different products. That's what I would 100% focus on. And then I'd also say, focus on adding more stores to your portfolio. You don't want to just be relying on one store. You want to always have multiple stores in your portfolio, a couple hundred products on each, and you want to keep building out more stores in different niches as well. And as I mentioned, in the same target market, it's probably the best way to go, but just different niches. What percentage of products that you test become bestsellers? In terms of bestsellers as in the badge, or bestsellers in terms of my own criteria? In terms of my own criteria, I would say like a winning product, a good like 35%. But a winning product to me is a product that sells consistently every single month. It can be both like a minimum of like say 10 pieces a month. But yeah. What's the most common reason for bans for stores over 50 sales? I see a lot of people do IP claims, intellectual property, copyright stuff. Like if you're just doing the copyright stuff, it ain't the best route to go down, right? Because there's no longevity there. Running up a store and then getting banned is just a bad idea, really. Actually, there's a guy that, there's like 3 guys actually that I know that have just got lawsuits for that, so I definitely recommend against that. But I would say typically the people that do that, it's just imagery, right? So I can't talk too much about this, obviously, outside of Etsy Kings, but it's just imagery. All right, like that's the most important thing. Yo, what's up, Craig? Hit my first 1K rev day the other day. Hey, that's good, bro. It's good. What products to focus on in Q4? Again, like literally every single product just works in Q4. You got to think. I don't want to give you specific niches because then all you guys just go to that specific niche and don't have a thought process about it, right? I'd rather teach you to fish, then you can feed yourself, rather than just give you a fish and you go hungry tomorrow. That makes sense. Like that's what I want to actually impart. So I would say focus on products for Q4. So Q4, there's evergreen products as I discussed. It's evergreen products, and then the seasonal products. Seasonal products are bad. I know they're not bad, but they're just a very different way of running it, and it's very difficult to actually squeeze the most revenue out of it because you have a very short period of time to actually scale it. Is basically why. So I would say with evergreen products, you want to focus on products that can be given as a gift or that have a decently nice perceived value. If they have a perceived value of 25 to 40 pounds, that's a good range to give a gift where it's not cheap, but also someone could buy it for themselves. It's not too expensive kind of thing. It's a good price range for gifts to give to someone else. It's not a crazy big gift, not a small gift. This kind of thing, right? And also, you got to bear in mind around Christmas, people aren't necessarily giving gifts to other people, but they're also giving gifts to themselves. People buy things for themselves way more around Christmas. Way more around Christmas because it's an excuse to do it, right? What do you know about Pulusoli holding payments for shorter periods? Can you elaborate on this Etsy policy? So the new Etsy policy of holding payments for 30% rather than 75%, I assume that's what you're talking about. Basically, it's absolutely wonderful news for anyone that sells on the platform on Etsy. Basically, Etsy were being super greedy and they were taking 75% of funds for 45 days, 75% for 45 days, less you gave a tracking, blah, 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 bullshit. Basically, they were holding a bunch of your cash from each and every single sale, 75% of it. Now they're only holding 30%. So if your margins, your profit margins are above 30% net margin, you're good, you're Gucci, you're in the clear. So that's one thing I'll say. I have no idea what supplier to use, Ali, CJ, etc. People saying use private supplier, stopping pushing ahead, any advice? Bro, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. Do not worry about that. Just use AliExpress, use CJ, doesn't matter. Use that for your first couple sales. It's fine. Everyone's like private supplier. Yes, a private supplier is good, but you don't want to overthink things, okay? Just start selling and figure out shit a little bit later on, okay? Just get some sales in the bank and then figure out shit later on. Like, this is the best route for absolutely anything, right? Just start selling and figure out shit later on. Why are people saying blah, blah, blah? Why are people saying not to run ads at the start? Because they're morons, bro. I tested like 15, 20 different strategies that like all of my 7-figure circle have given me around just the best ways to actually start up a store, best ways to get it running quickly. Running ads right at the beginning is the best way. Not crazy amount of ads, but a little bit of ads. Do you suggest to copy winning products as a beginner? Yes. It's the best way to really get some sales under your belt. Once you understand really like you have a little bit of sales, you've got that kind of dopamine hit of just getting a couple fucking orders and getting some money from online, then you can go figure out the deeper meaning behind everything. Bro, creating shipping profile confuses me. Should I create a shipping profile for each item? No, just create one and then just attach it to all. Then once you start figuring out, oh, this supplier ships faster than this one, you can start changing things. Is it cool to make 3 personal cards on Chase and link them to separate stores? No, they won't link. The stores won't link. Will you close the option of joining EK at one time? Yes. So I've said this before as well. Before Q4, I'm going to be closing it because like I'm just not going to have time to do these calls. I'm not going to have time to do a million and one things. So like, yeah, of course I'm going to be fucking closing it. Is it better to keep adding hundreds of listings or stop at 60 to 80 listings, test and optimize and keep only winning products? No, I would say keep adding. Just keep adding, while also doing testing and optimization and things like this. You just want to keep adding though. You don't want to stop adding for just no particular reason really. How to choose a supplier on AliExpress, multiple suppliers of the same product, what metrics do you look at, price, number sold, etc. So number sold is a very good thing, but also I would say like the actual reviews in the item and also speaking to them. If they have a quick response time, like quick response time makes me want to work with people so much more, right? How do you know I'm getting banned on Etsy before even making my seller account? So more than likely it's maybe a proxy issue. Your proxies aren't safe and secure, or maybe it's probably your proxies aren't safe and secure, I would say. But also I would say that potentially it's like cookies and you just haven't warmed up the profile long enough. Yeah, I would probably say it's because you haven't warmed up the profile long enough, bro. Like that's what I'm gonna say to that particular question. What's the difference between cancel and refund? What do you personally use under what circumstances? So cancel is, normally I just use cancel. If I'm fully refunding someone, I'll cancel their order pretty much. Just open a new stuff account, listed 2 items got banned already. Any advice or practices when listing items to lower the chances of getting banned? Also, I have received an email from Etsy regarding my suspension. Why could this be? So the email stuff, why haven't I received an email from Etsy regarding my suspension? Why? Basically, the reason why is because the Etsy support system's kind of just utter shit. It's kind of the shit response. Like there's not really much to do about it basically, but you just have to contact them. You have to contact them on live chat, on email as well. That's the best way to do it, and just chase them, hound them for it, right? It's a weird dynamic, I know, and it's bad, and you just got to deal with it, right? Same thing with Facebook. Like Facebook, if your ad account gets banned, you've got to deal with it, and it's just problems and problems and problems and problems, right? Just that kind of thing, right? And then in terms of actually getting banned, like two products listed and getting banned is very, very like kind of astounding almost. So I would definitely say that, so that's kind of astounding to be honest. I'm kind of amazed by that. But I would say just really focus on the imagery. I can't say too much outside of Etsy Kings, but just really focus on the imagery and go slow right in the beginning. Just go slow in the beginning. Does the Q4 volume continue into Q1 or does the volume stop around Christmas? So the really interesting thing about Q4 and particularly Etsy is that January is normally a very bad month across the board of e-commerce. Like it kind of is, kind of isn't. There's pros and there's cons. There's pros because the ad cost, I don't want to overcomplicate it. But January is actually a very good month on Etsy. So it's not as good as October, November, December, but it's still a decent month. It's better than June. That's what I'll say. It's better than June. January is better than June. June, July, August, summer months, typically pretty dead. October, November, December, you'll be amazed. If you've done things correctly, you'll be amazed. Bro, how do you scale? So how I scale my Etsy dropshipping stores, very, very simple. Very, 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 very simple. So more stores, more products. Optimization. So optimization is in terms of like decreasing cost of goods, increasing prices to actually scale the amount of profit that I'm making. Increase the amount of profit that I'm making. And then in terms of actually increasing the amount of revenue that I'm making, more stores, more niches, more products, blah, blah, blah. More products, right? Like super, super, super simple. Just more products. 4 or 5 different guides, all about different things, all about Etsy. I've made it. Honestly, I've spent like tens and tens of hours working on these guides and all these videos and stuff like this. So do it. How can I automate it? You can automate it through, basically, if you get a private supplier, they can deal with all the shipping out of stuff for you. In terms of customer service, you can get a virtual assistant, very cheap, $4 or $5 an hour for a Filipino, for an Indian, something like this. Very, very simple, right? Very, very simple. You can just keep it across the board, just employees. It's the same thing as any business, right? Like if you look at Walmart, the CEO ain't fucking packaging the bags or scanning shit, right? Just outsource it to employees. Outsource it to employees or have systems, right? Like, you have computer systems, so there's some that your private supplier will use. There's some that my actual warehouse uses as well. So we use like an ERP system as well, and we also use ShipStation as well. Pros and cons of bulk stock. Hey, that's an interesting question. That's a good question. Okay, pros and cons of bulk stock. So a pro of bulk stock is, depending on the item, you're gonna get reduced cost of goods, right? Not all the items, but some items you are gonna get reduced cost of goods, but not all of them, I'll say that. Big pro is that you are going to get faster shipping. You just are. Like, if you're on the ball with your bulk shipping, I'm actually opening a 3PL for the Etsy Kings guys right now. But you're gonna get more, you're gonna get faster shipping. Across the board, faster shipping is gonna be better, right? You're gonna get, typically from our warehouse, we're shipping out same day for like 90% of orders, and 90% of orders before like 3 p.m. basically. Before the actual postman comes, the pickup comes, we have shipped our orders. So typically you're gonna ship, most items received are in like 3 days to UK, sometimes 1 day if we do priority shipping as well. So that's super, super good. The cons of bulk stock, there's a couple more pros, but the cons of bulk stock are typically, the cons of bulk stock is that it's more risk, right? It's more risk. So yeah, it's more risk, right? So it's more risk. Like, I bought 1,000 pieces of one particular item. It's quite bulky, not super expensive, but it was like maybe £10,000, right? Not a crazy amount of money, but well, no, it's a decent amount of money. And I thought it was going to take like a month to sell during Q4, but some stuff happened. The product didn't perform as well as I thought it was going to do, and that took it like a year and a half to sell, 18 months to sell. So there's cons to it as well. But if you're very cautious around it, or you have a smaller item, it's very easy because you have express shipping, so you don't have to buy months in advance. A lot of my items are bulkier, so I have to buy 3 months in advance. I'm going to Spain next week. Should I use a VPN to have the same IP? Don't use a VPN, use a proxy. Can I make a good amount of profit if I start a store in September? Why would you start in September? Why not just start right now? You're gonna make way more profit if you start today than in 2 weeks' time. It's just the way it is. Can you tell me more about Etsy Kings? Yeah, bro, check out the description of this video. Go check that out. You can send me a message, I'll respond with a voice note and tell you all about it, basically. What are your thoughts on print on demand Etsy? I think it's super good if you get the correct niches. Typically what I've seen is with POD, print on demand. Typically the actual margins get squeezed a lot, so you typically only end up with about 20%, which is really not that much money when I'm running at like 30, 40, 50, over 50% margins on some stores. Have you tried high ticket dropshipping on Etsy? Yeah, of course, bro. How's high ticket? I haven't tried like 2,000, but I've tried like a good couple hundred, yeah. Works very well.